Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope you folks are having a good day so far. The impeachment trial of former President Trump has begun, and there have been rumors floating around that the president is already asking aides whether he faces additional potential criminal exposure beyond this impeachment trial, because the legal troubles as far as former President Trump is concerned, are in many ways just beginning, because a lot of new investigations are opening up. Folks, in this video, I'm going to give you the latest status of what's happening with the stimulus, with the relief negotiations, and important information that is relevant to us as a country. As you know, the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. I'm going to give you some major updates, so let's just jump right in. On your screen, you'll see a brand new headline from Bloomberg, which reads, Biden warms to fast-track stimulus after liberal pressure mounts. So, folks, there were some indications a couple of days ago that President Biden might be open to further targeting of stimulus checks. Well, that has changed pretty quickly. According to a brand new statement from Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, yesterday, she actually revealed, and I quote, "I don't think the American people are particularly worried about how the direct relief gets into their hands." That's what Jen Psaki said. She said the most likely path at this point is through a reconciliation process. So, folks, it is pretty clear that the Democrats are going to go it alone, even if they don't get a single Republican vote. I did show you a video yesterday of the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell. There he is. Hello, Mitch. He's not very happy. He called the reconciliation process a phony partisan package. Yep, those were his exact words, a phony partisan package. Now, folks, one of the reasons why this is so important is President Biden played a role in the negotiation of the 2009 rescue package when he was vice president, and at that point the Democrats curtailed the stimulus package to be able to appease some Republicans, and that effort was kept under $1 trillion to appeal a handful of Republicans, and that concession is now widely regarded as a misstep. And more than 200 former officials from the Obama administration, including Valerie Jarrett and John Podesta, said in an open letter to Congress, I quote, "We can't let the same thing happen again." Here's a quote from Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. He said, "Obama reached out a lot and got a clenched fist rather than an open hand all too often." So you can start to see that the Democrats essentially have been scarred from the past, even though we have an evenly split Senate right now, 50 Democrat senators in the Senate and 50 Republican senators. The Democrats are willing to go it alone. And Jim Clyburn said in his interview, it got to the Senate, Obama decided to try to be bipartisan, and it got reduced by over $200 billion. Everybody now knows that lowballing that number gave us a puny recovery. So basically, the Democrats are like, we are not going to repeat the mistakes we made from 2009. And folks, I want to be clear. At the end of the day, people need help now. We need quick cash now. We need money to pay our bills, to keep the lights on, to be able to pay rent. I think that people are going to remember checks in the mail, and people are not going to remember, I quote, bipartisanship. Also, I believe that the Republicans are playing games, and the Republicans will not allow a large stimulus package to pass. And then they'll say later, hey, you didn't help as many people as we helped. This is actually a major concern from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She actually brought it up. There she is. Also, this is a concern from Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont. There he is. What's up, Bernie? So there are actual concerns that not only is this necessary to help people, but this could politically backfire for the Democrats. Now, the Republicans, of course, are concerned about fiscal deficits, but the Democrats are saying, hey, we can deal with this by taxing the rich, and because the cost of borrowing money is so low right now. And it's very clear that President Biden himself sees what happened in 2009 as a cautionary tale. President Biden believes that stimulus package, it was a $787 billion stimulus package that he helped negotiate 12 years ago, was not enough, according to President Biden. He said at the White House, it stemmed the crisis, but the recovery could have been faster and even bigger. And President Biden actually warned his new negotiating partners that if I have to choose between getting help right now to Americans who are hurting so badly and getting bogged down in a lengthy negotiation or compromising on a bill that's up to the crisis, that's an easy choice. I'm going to help the American people who are hurting now. So it's very clear where President Biden stands with this. And you've heard me mention this before on my channel, folks, but this is important, which is why I'm going to show you this graph on your screen. There's a widening gap, and again, this is phenomenal reporting from Bloomberg. I'll provide you with a link to the Bloomberg article in the description section below. Definitely check it out. There's a widening gap in the economic recovery between African Americans and between whites. You can see the red line demonstrates the unemployment rate for white individuals, and the black line demonstrates the unemployment rate for African American individuals. You can see that more African American individuals are unemployed relative to white individuals, which shows you the widening gap, the existing racial gap, if you will, in the unemployment rate and the economic recovery, which is part of the reason that there's so much urgency for President Biden. Keep in mind that President Biden won to a certain extent because of the African American vote. So in a sense, he wants to be able to make sure, as far as he's concerned, that he takes care of his own voting bloc. So this presents an interesting political dynamic. It's an economic fact that African American individuals are suffering more, not to mention individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality. Hispanic individuals, Asian individuals are suffering more as a direct result of this pandemic. Now, folks, as you can imagine, this fast-track stimulus approach is not something that the Republicans are happy with. So I'm going to show you a couple of comments from a couple of key Republicans who are part of the 10 Republicans that were speaking with President Biden less than a week ago. That seems like a lifetime ago in this environment. Here's a quote from Todd Young, who's an Indiana Republican. He said, "We passed 5 bipartisan COVID packages. It's not a good signal that he's," meaning President Biden, "is adopting a take it or leave it approach right after the president delivers an inaugural address based on unity." Another senator who actually is friends with President Biden, who's worked with President Biden in the past in the United States Senate, is Susan Collins from Maine. So Senator Susan Collins, the Maine Republican, said, "It was a mistake for the Democratic leader to go immediately to reconciliation less than 24 hours after we had a constructive, cordial meeting of 10 Republican senators at the White House." And folks, going back to past experiences, Democrats feel that they were sucker punched. They were essentially outmaneuvered. I'll show you a quote from Mark Morial, who's the president of the National Urban League and a former mayor of New Orleans. He said, "It was a sucker punch in the Obama years in this instance. You say we don't want a big stimulus, we don't want a big stimulus. Then 2 years later you accused," meaning the economic recovery was not good and therefore the Democrats were blamed. And Mark said it's called snookering. Here's another interesting comment from Adam Green, co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. "The key question underlying the entire fight is, did Democrats learn the proper lesson of the Obama years? Going bold is always popular, and slow walking bold ideas is always a bad idea." So folks, there's a political reason for this fast-track stimulus. Remember, politics is a lot about timing, it's a lot about opportunity. Now, it is a strategic idea for President Biden to do something that is popular first and then bipartisan second. Passing a massive stimulus package will be popular, and it is already popular amongst a majority of our fellow Americans. In fact, let me show you a couple of polls on your screen right now that were conducted on our channel, asking our viewers and subscribers whether, the $1,400 stimulus check made more sense, who should get it, should there be targeting, questions about the unemployment benefits. Check out these polls, and you can see that there is a significant amount of support for larger stimulus, more bold stimulus. Now, once the Democrats get this done, their next strategic step will be to try and do a bold infrastructure plan, which the Republicans also want. And so this would then allow the Biden administration to get 2 major victories in the first year. One, a popular victory. Let's hope that coincides with us overcoming this pandemic, and then they'll achieve what's called as a bipartisan victory with infrastructure, and then they can focus on the other aspects of their agenda. So folks, that's it in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me personally. I would really appreciate you doing that, and that really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.